classes. So today I will be taking the part 2 of the chapter 9 from class 6 science, that is the living organism and their surrounding. Okay, so I have already discussed some of the key points in the part 1. You can go in the part 1 of my video and there you can see that we have discussed about the components of habitats, biotic, abiotic. Here in the part 2 we are going to discuss different habitats, in which we are going to see all these different habitats. We will see the classification, that how habitat is classified into terrestrial habitat, coastal habitat and aquatic habitat. So from that we are going to discuss the terrestrial habitat, that what is a terrestrial habitat. In the terrestrial, further there is 4 types of division: grassland, deserts, mountain. Okay, so we will be seeing in this video about desert habitat and mountain regions only. So in desert habitat we will discuss the animal, that is camel, how it has adapted itself to desert because of its long leg and how it has got a tendency to lose less of water. Then we will see rat and snakes, what measure they follow to adapt themselves to deserts. Then we will see the plant cactus, how its leaf, stem, roots are designed so that it can adapt itself to a desert area. Next we will see the mountain region, in which in animals we will be discussing yak, snow leopard and goat, how their thick skin, furry body full of hairs help them to defend themselves from the cold of the mountain region. Then we will discuss in tree, the pine tree, that how it is shaped in a cone which helps it to slide off the snow and rain water. Okay, so this is all which we are going to discuss today in the part 2 of my video. Okay, so first we will start with terrestrial habitat. So let's start. So we will see the different habitats today. Okay, what I am going to tell you about the different habitats. So in the previous video of this chapter you have seen the components of habitat, that is the abiotic component and biotic component. We have seen that biotic components has got the all living organisms, abiotic has got all non-living organisms. Now we will see different habitats. Okay, so different habitats, if we divide habitat, we can divide it in 3 main categories. Okay, so the first comes the terrestrial habitat. Okay, the first one is the terrestrial habitat. The second, if you define, is the aquatic habitat. Okay, aquatic habitats. And the third type of habitat, if we define, is a coastal habitats. Okay, coastal habitats. Fine. So what is terrestrial habitat? Terrestrial habitat means the animals or living organisms that live on land. Where is their home? On the land. So terrestrial habitat is the one, those who are living on the land. If we talk about aquatic, means living in the water. Okay, and coastal habitat is the one living at the coastal areas. Okay, so land, if we talk about terrestrial habitat, land can be of many types. Land में भी बहुत तरीके के हो सकते हैं. It can be a desert land, it can be a mountain region, or it can be a grassland, or it can be a forest region. फॉरेस्ट में भी लोग लैंड पे रह रहे हैं, Desert में भी land में, grassland है तो it is also land. So terrestrial can further be divided into how many types? 4 types. Okay? So desert land, okay, mountain region, the third is the grasslands, and the fourth type is the forest region. Okay, so terrestrial habitat are the animals or living organisms, those are living on the land, and terrestrial can further be desert land, mountain region, grassland, forest region. Okay, now next, if you see aquatic habitat, aquatic means water. Water can be of which type? It can be a fresh water or it can be a marine habitat. Okay, so this is for the 2 types. It can be a marine habitat or it can be a fresh water. Okay, so marine habitat, sea water and all can be a marine habitat. Fresh water is going to be ponds, lakes and all. Okay, these are going to be fresh water. So habitat can be of categorized in 3 categories: terrestrial, aquatic and coastal. If you divide terrestrial, it will be of 4 types: desert land, mountain, grassland, forest. Aquatic are of 2 types: marine and fresh water, and the third is the coastal habitats. Okay, so we have seen 1 terrestrial, 2 aquatic and 3 coastal habitats. So now today I will be discussing about terrestrial habitats. One by one we are going to see desert land, then we will see mountain land, then the grassland and the forest region. Okay, so let's start with the desert land. Okay, so terrestrial habitat, animal and plants, or you can say even any living organism that is living on the land is said to be terrestrial habitat. So first we are going to see the deserts. Okay, so deserts की बात करें तो deserts are the one which are having which type of atmosphere? Hot and dry. Okay, the weather is there hot and it's very dry. We know that it's dry. Deserts are there. So now if we talk about the animal, we can see in the deserts area. So the very famous animal in the desert area is camel. If you go towards Rajasthan or any desert land, you will see camel is very common in Rajasthan. Okay? Why is camel very common in Rajasthan? There must be some adaptation in camel that it can walk nicely on the deserts. These hot deserts जो होते हैं कितने hot होते हैं, it's hot. How these camels can walk on there? Okay, so we will see now the body structure of the camel, how it helps it to live in a desert, to survive in desert condition. Okay, so the body structure of camel is designed in such a way that it helps it to survive in deserts. Okay, so what is the body structure of a camel? If you have seen camel have got very long legs. Have you seen it? Some helps to keep their body away from the heat of the sand. Okay, so deserts में क्या hot है, dry है और sands और sands क्या है, बहुत hot है. अब body में क्या है, legs बहुत बड़े बड़े हैं like this. तो body यहाँ पे है और sand यहाँ legs पे है. These are the sand. This is leg and this is the body. So if the legs are larger, it is keeping the body away from the sand. Suppose if these legs were very short, they were having a short legs like this. So body is going to be very near to sand, but since the legs are long, the body is here. This is making a bigger distance. So the long legs helps to keep the camels, their body away from the sand, away from the heat of the sand. Okay. Fine. So the first adaptation of the camel is its leg. That it has got a big legs which help its body to be keep away from the heat of a sand. Next, if you see about camel, they excrete a small amount of urine. They don't urinate very frequently. Okay, and when they excrete urine, when they release urine, they release it in very small amount. Okay, so their trunk is dry and they do not sweat. Okay, so since they excrete urine very less, their trunk is dry. If they are, अगर वो बहुत ज़्यादा यूरिनेट करते तो उनकी ट्रंक जो होती वो बहुत मतलब ड्राइनेस खत्म हो जाती है और उनको बहुत स्वेटिंग होती है. इसकी वजह से इनके में स्वेटिंग कम होती है. दे डू नॉट स्वेट. और स्वेटिंग से क्या होता है? व्हाट इज स्वेटिंग? तो स्वेटिंग इज द लॉस ऑफ वाटर फ्रॉम द बॉडी. अगर स्वेटिंग कम होगी तो आपके बॉडी का वाटर कम लॉस होगा तो आप कंज्यूम भी कम करोगे और जितना ज़्यादा स्वेटिंग होगी उतना ज़्यादा वाटर का कंजम्पशन होगा तो आप उतना ज़्यादा वाटर चाहिए होगा. तो चूंकि डेजर्ट एरिया में डेजर्ट्स there is a scarcity of water, so first the sand is very hot, so they have got long legs. Second, there is a scarcity of water, they can't get water every time, so they excrete in a small amount of urine, so their trunk is very dry and they do not sweat much. Okay, so since these camels they loses very little water from their body, स्वेटिंग होगी ही नहीं तो वाटर कैसे लूज होगा बॉडी से? ना तो यूरिनेशन ज्यादा हो रहा है ना स्वेटिंग हो रही है, तो देयर इज नो चांस ऑफ वाटर टू बी लॉस्ट फ्रॉम द बॉडी. हमारी बॉडी से दो मेन रीजंस हैं व्हाई वी लूज वाटर फ्रॉम द बॉडी. वन इज स्वेटिंग. व्हेन वी स्वेट देयर इज अ लॉस ऑफ वाटर. व्हेन वी यूरिनेट देयर इज अ लॉस ऑफ वाटर. सो इफ द कैमल डजंट यूरिनेट मच, कैमल does not sweat much, so there is a less chance of water to be little water from their body they lose. Okay, so they can live many days without water. Okay, so it is a big adaptation of camel that they can live without water for a long time. Okay, they don't need much of the water. Okay, so this was about camel. Next we will, first I will be telling you about camel. So the first adaptation about camel is that camel has got long legs. Which type of legs? Long legs. Now these long legs, how it is going to benefit it? It keeps their body, which keeps their body away from away from the hot sand. Keeps their body away from the Next, these camel, they urinate in the small amount. Okay, they excrete. You can say their excretion excrete small amount of urine. Small amount of urine. So what happens? This makes their trunk dry. Their trunk is dry and they do not sweat much. And they do not sweat much. Okay? So this feature helps them to retain water for many days. Okay? So since camels lose very little water, they can live without water for many days. Okay? So camels have got a long leg which keeps their body away from the hot sand. Camels excrete a small amount of urine. Their trunk is dry and they do not sweat much. Sweating ज़्यादा नहीं होती है, यूरिन भी कम पास होता है, इसलिए बॉडी से जो वाटर है वो बहुत ही लिटिल वाटर यूज होता है. ओके, सो दिस हेल्प्स देम टू लिव विदाउट वाटर फॉर मेनी डेज. ओके, सो दिस इज अबाउट कैमल. कैमल इज अ टिपिकल डेजर्ट एनिमल. ठीक है, ये बिल्कुल अडॉप्टेड है कि वो इस हॉट सैंड और विदाउट वाटर बहुत दिन तक रह सकता है. Now if we talk about animals like rats, snakes, which are also present in desert, how do they survive? Okay, so next we are going to talk about rats and snakes. Okay, so these are not desert animals like camels. So how can they survive? So if we talk about rats and camels, there are desert animals like camels which have got long legs, so they need not to swim. Okay, so now what do these rats and snakes do to keep themselves away from the heat of the sun? So they stay away from the intense heat during the day. Okay, डे टाइम में क्या करते हैं कि रैट और स्नेक जो होते हैं अपने आप को इंटेंस हीट जो है, जो हॉट सैंड है, उससे दूर रखते हैं. कैसे दूर रखते हैं? व्हाट दे डू, दे डिग burrows. Okay, they make burrows deep in the sand. They dig out the sand and make a burrow deep in the sand and they stay inside. Okay, they stay in that. They dig out burrow within the sand and they stay in that. And what happens at the night when the desert gets cool, these animals come out. They come out only in the night. So we know that this desert, it gets hot also very soon and cool also very soon. तो क्या होता है कि दिन में तो डेजर्ट बहुत गर्म होती है, बट रात में बहुत जल्दी ठंडी भी हो जाती है. इसीलिए जो डेजर्ट प्लेसेस हैं उनकी दिन तो बहुत गर्म होती है बट रात काफी ठंडी रहती है. ओके, सो रैट और स्नेक कैसे रहते हैं? ये क्या करते हैं? दे डिग burrows. They dig burrows. And where do they dig these burrows? Deep in the sand. Deep in the sand. And it stays there during day. Okay, and they come out at night when it is cooler, when deserts get cool, So we have seen the desert habitat. In the desert habitat, we know that the weather is very hot, dry, and the sands are there. So we have seen that how camel has adapted itself because of its long legs, because of its tendency to retain water for many days. Next, if you talk about the other animals like rat and snakes, how do they defend themselves from this intense heat of the sand? They dig burrows deep in the sand and stay there during the day. Daytime में ये कहाँ रहते हैं? burrows में. और night में जब night cool हो जाती है, then they come out. Okay? So this was about the animals of desert land. Now we are going to talk about the plants that are present in the desert land, how they adapt to desert. So we have seen the animals at desert area, that is, we have seen mainly camel, how it adapts itself, rats we have seen, and snakes. Okay, so these were animals we have seen. Now we will see that how these plants, different desert plants, they adopt their self. Okay, so plants of desert area. So a very common plants of deserts area are cactus. If you see, cactus is very common. Okay, in the deserts. So in desert plants, what is the characteristic of desert plants like cactus? Okay, so what happens? These plants, they have reduced to spins. Okay. Their leaves are such that they are reduced to spins and they lose little water through respiration. Through transpiration. Transpiration के through जो water loss होता है, we know that transpiration is a process of water loss. So in plants में जो कि deserts area में होते हैं, उनकी leaves reduce हो जाती है spines की तरह और water loss बहुत कम होता है. ठीक है? इसके कारण ये डिजर्ट एरिया में अडॉप्ट हो जाते हैं. जो स्टेम होती है ऑफ डिजर्ट प्लांट, दे हैव अ वेरी वैक्सी कोटिंग. ओके, कैसी कोटिंग होती है? वैक्सी कोटिंग होती है ऑन देम एंड इन मोस्ट ऑफ दिस फोटोसिंथेसिस आर कैरीड आउट ऑफ द स्टेम. ओके, सो देयर रूट्स दे गो डीप इनटू द सॉइल टू एब्जॉर्ब वाटर. ये बहुत बड़े-बड़े रूट्स होते हैं इनके प्लांट्स के, जो कि बहुत डीप जा सकते हैं कि वो अंदर से वाटर को एब्जॉर्ब कर सकें. ओके, और लीव्स को एज आई हैव ऑलरेडी टोल्ड यू कि द लीव्स आर आइदर एब्सेंट, दे आर स्मॉल और दे फाइन एंड दे मेक अ शेप ऑफ स्पाइन्स टू प्रिवेंट द लॉस ऑफ वाटर ड्यू टू ट्रांसपिरेशन. Okay, so these are some of the features of the plants of a desert area which makes them to live in desert. Okay, so सबसे पहले leaves देखेंगे. Leaves of the plants of desert area, it is of which type? It's either absent, okay, और अगर present भी है तो क्या? Very small, बहुत छोटी होती है. और क्या हो सकता है कि वो स्पाइन्स की तरह फॉर्म हो जाती है. ओके, और फॉर्म लाइक स्पाइन्स. ओके, सो व्हाट इज द बेनिफिट ऑफ दिस? लीफ जो है कि आइदर एब्सेंट हो जाए या वेरी स्मॉल हो जाए या फॉर्म लाइक स्पाइन्स. तो दिस से क्या होता है? दिस इज टू हेल्प द प्लांट्स, टू प्रिवेंट दीज प्लांट्स to prevent loss of water due to transpiration. Transpiration से water का loss ना. Okay, to prevent loss of water due to transpiration. Okay, so the leaves of the desert plants are either absent or they are very small or formed like a spine to prevent loss of water due to transpiration. Transpiration में water का loss होता है. अगर बहुत ज़्यादा water का loss होगा तो desert में इतना पानी मिलेगा कहाँ से कि plant survive कर पाए. So उनकी leaves ही ऐसी adapted है या you can say leaves are modified in such a way that they can survive in desert area. Okay, so these leaves they are reduced to spine to prevent the loss of water through transpiration. Okay, now if we talk about their stems, the stems are having a waxy coating. कैसे होती है stems? Waxy coating होती है. Okay, stems में waxy coating होती है तो इससे क्या फायदा होता है कि most of the photosynthesis is carried out by the stem. Itself carries out photosynthesis. Waxy coating, so most of the photosynthesis क्योंकि वहाँ पे mostly leaves तो होती ही नहीं है और होती भी है तो they are just the stems you can say. So most of the photosynthesis is carried out by the stem. Normally क्या होता है कि photosynthesis leaf में होती है, leaf में chlorophyll होती है उसके थ्रू होती है, but यहाँ पे कोई जरूरत नहीं है. Now let's talk about the roots. So the roots of these plants they go deep into the soil to absorb water. Okay, so roots of these plants go deep into the soil to absorb water. Okay, so if you look over a cactus plant, you can see it is somewhat like this. ठीक है, और ऐसे ऐसे इनके में स्पाइन्स लगे होते हैं. So basically, if you try to see where is the leaf, you will see that they don't have leaf. This stem is only their leaf, or you can say it's a leaf or a stem. Okay, so leaves are either absent, small, or found in the spines to prevent the loss of water through transpiration. Stems are having a waxy coating. Stems में क्या होती है? Waxy coating होती है. So most of the photosynthesis is carried out by stem. Photosynthesis कहाँ पे? Stem के थ्रू होती है. Next roots इनके जो होते हैं वो बहुत deep होते हैं into the soil, deep into the soil to absorb the water. Okay, so we have seen the animals like camel, rats, how they adapt themselves in what desert area. How these plants, trees, cactus plants, they adopt themselves. Okay. Now we shall be doing one activity which will help us to know better that how these leaves they are either absent or they are modified as a spines, or how there is a less loss of water through transpiration. We will take one leafy plant and one cactus plant, and we will see which plant is having more loss of water due to transpiration. Okay. So for this activity what we need? We need one leafy plant and one cactus plant. Okay? Plants, two plants we need. One leafy plant one cactus plant. Now if you remember about the transpiration experiment we have done in chapter 7 also, okay, knowing the plants chapter we have done, what we need to take is that we take a polythene bag and cover some parts of this leafy plant and some part of this cactus plant. Okay, so the leaves the potted plant in the sun. We are going to leave this potted plant into the sun after for few hours. Just leave it into the sun after covering it with a polythene bag for few hours. But we are going to see that this desert plant, that is a cactus plant, loses very little water through respiration. Okay. Whereas this leafy plant, it loses much of the water through respiration. Okay. So what happens? Transpiration. So why this leafy plant is losing? This cactus plant is losing less of water through transpiration. As I have already told you that these leaves are either absent or they are modified in the form of a spine, which prevents the much loss of water. Okay. So this helps in reducing loss of water from the leaves through transpiration. Okay, so the leaf-like structure basically that we see in cactus is in fact its stem. Okay, as I have already drawn the diagram and show you that this leaf-like structure that we see in a cactus is what? Is its stem only. Okay, it's not leaf. Basically, the leaves are modified as a stem. Okay. So, photosynthesis in these plants is usually carried out by the stem. These are not leaves, these are modified into stems. Photosynthesis is also taking place here only. Photosynthesis takes place in these stems only. Okay, and this modification of the leaves, it prevents the loss of water through transpiration. Okay, so the stem is covered with a waxy layer. So there is a waxy layer on it. Okay, which helps to retain water into the tissue of the cactus. Okay, so this waxy layer stem helps to retain water. So in this experiment, we have taken two plants, leafy plant and cactus plant. We have covered them some part with our polythene bag. Okay, then we are going to see that we will leave it in sun, for few hours. Okay, so what we are going to see that this leafy plant loses much of the water, whereas this cactus plant it loses very little water. This is why, because these cactus plants, their leaves are modified into a stem. Okay, and these stems they have a waxy layer which helps to retain water, and the photosynthesis process is also carried out in this stem. Okay, so this was about deserts. We have seen that how in the hot and dry desert where all the area is covered with the sand, and that sand is also very intense, full of intense heat, how in that these camels as an animal adopt, and different plants like cactus, how they adopt themselves, how transpiration photosynthesis takes place in this cactus and all. Okay, so this was about desert plants. Now next we will study about mountain region. Okay, so we have seen deserts, plant and animal. Now let's see the mountain region, plant and animal. So the second type is of terrestrial habitat is a terrestrial habitat. Now we are going to see mountain region. First terrestrial habitat we have seen of desert, and second we will see of mountain region. So if we talk about mountain region, these regions are very rocky, okay? They are very cold and windy, okay? Deserts are very hot, dry and full of sands. But these are very rocky, cold and windy, okay? So in some areas what happens is there is so much cold in winters that there is a snowfall. Winters are so cold that snow falls down. There is a snowfall. So there is a large variety of plants and animals living in these mountain regions. Okay. So mountain regions are cold, rocky and windy. And in winters, some places there is also snowfall. Snowfall is there. Fine. So first again we will see the animals of mountain region, then the plants of mountain region. Okay. So now let's discuss the animals of mountain region. So animals living in the mountain region are such that they have totally adapted themselves to cold. Okay, it's very cold there, so they have adapted themselves to cold. Okay, so how they have adapted themselves to cold? They have thick fur, okay, on their skin. Their skin have got either a thick skin they have got, or they have got fur on their skin to protect themselves from cold. जो स्किन होती है उनकी या तो बहुत थिक होती है या इतने फरी होते हैं, वो हेयर्स होते हैं उनके स्किन पे कि उन्हें कोल्ड फील नहीं होता. इट गिव्स वार्मनेस टू these animals. Okay, example of mountain region animals are like yak. If you have seen yak, they have got long hairs on their body which keeps them warm. Okay, next type of animal that is present in the mountain region is the snow leopard. Okay, if you talk about the snow leopard, they have got a thick fur on their body, okay, including feet, toes, everywhere. They have got thick furs. So these furs protect its body, its feet, okay, all from the cold when it walks into the snow. So snow leopard, its name is only snow leopard because it walks in the snow with their furry feet, with their furry toes, with their furry body. Okay? Animals like goats are also very famous. Goats, sheep are very famous in the mountain region. So these goats, they have got strong hoofs for running up in the rocky slopes of the mountain. Okay? So goats have got strong hoofs so that they can run on the rocky slopes of the mountain. We know that these mountains, they have got this type of rocky slopes, so it is difficult to run on that. Okay, so animals are made such that they have adapted themselves to this cold region. So how they have adapted themselves? The adaptation is that they have thick skin, okay, or fur which protects them from cold. Okay, so this type of skin protects them from cold. Next, we are going to see some of the examples of some animals. Firstly, we will see for yak. Yak, how is its body? It has got long hair. Okay, so body has got long hairs which keep it warm. Okay, next type of animal is snow leopard. So which type of body this snow leopard has got? This snow leopard has got a thick fur on its body, feet and toes. Thick fur on its body, feet and toes. Okay. So what happens? This helps it to walk in snow. Okay. This protects the feet. This protects the feet when it walks into the snow. Feet from cold when it walks on the snow. Okay. Next, if you will see goats, we will talk about goats. So how is the body of goats? Goats, they have got a strong hoofs. The strong hoofs are for running. The strong hoofs for running. Okay, up the rocky slopes of the mountain. Okay, so we have seen that how mountain region is cold, rocky and windy, snowfall is also there, and how different animals like yak, snow leopard, goats, they adapt themselves by having hairs on their body, by having thick furs on their body, feet and all, and by having a strong hoofs which helps them to climb up on the rocky mountains. So this was for the animals at the mountain region. Now we will see the trees or plants that are present in the mountain region. Okay, so trees and plants present in mountain region. Okay, so if we talk about trees and plants that are present in mountain region, a very famous tree that is present in the mountain regions are pine tree. Okay, you must have seen pine tree. It's built like this. The shape is like this. Okay, so this type of tree is very famous in the mountain region. Okay, so we have discussed about animals. Now we shall see the plants of the mountain region. So these trees of the mountain region are usually of this shape. You can see this is like a cone. It's like a cone shape and having slopy branches. You can see the branches are sloping down. This is sloping down. If you keep something here, it will slide away. Okay. So while the sloping branches are there, the leaves are needle-like also, you can say. Slopy branches, needle-like, and it is a cone shape. So this shape of the leaf helps the rainwater or the snow to slide off easily. Like this, the snow or rainwater is going to slide off easily. Okay. So that's why the shape of the tree is cone shaped or having slopy branches, or they are having needle-like shape. Okay, so there could be trees with the shapes which are very different from these that are present in the mountain. So they may have different kind of adaptation to survive on the mountain. Okay, so basically if we talk about the mountain tree, they are cone in shape. Okay, these trees are cone shaped trees. Okay, and they have sloping branches. Leaves are needle-like. Okay, so what is the benefit of all these type of slopy branches, needle-like leaves? Helps rainwater or the snow that has fallen down, snow to slide off easily. Okay, so we have seen how these trees are cone shaped, sloping branches, leaves are needle-like, helps rainwater or snow to slide off easily. The best example for the leaf plant which are present at the mountain region are pine plants, but there are some other plants also that are different from these shapes, but they anyhow they follow a different adaptation and they adapt in the mountain region. Okay, so this was all for today. Here I finished my part 2 of the chapter 9, that is the living organisms and their surrounding. Okay, so we have seen here about habitat, different habitats. In that we have discussed the terrestrial habitat. Terrestrial habitat are the animals or plants that live on the land. Okay, fine. So in terrestrial we have seen two types of habitat, that is a desert habitat in which we have seen plant of desert habitat, that is cactus we have taken example, animal of desert habitat, camel we have taken. Then we have discussed the mountain regions. We have seen how cold, rocky, windy it is, and we have seen animals like yak, sheep, snow leopard, and plant like tree like pine, how they adapt themselves to make themselves survive in this cold and windy, and how they can make these snow to slide off from their leaf. Okay, so this was all for today. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching my video. In the next video you are going to see the other types of habitat. Okay, so grassland in the terrestrial only, grassland is still left. Okay, so we shall be discussing all those which are left in the next video. So please keep on watching the videos and give a like button to my video. And if you have not subscribed our channel Always Scholar yet, please do subscribe it so that you can get the updates of the videos daily which we upload. Okay, so this was all for today. Please go on Google Play also and download our app. The link of the app is given in the description box. You can go through that. Fine. There you are going to get very interesting videos. If you are interested for live classes, we conduct that also. MCQ questions are also available. You can give online test. And also very good PDF notes are available. Please go through that. Okay, so thank you so much. Thank you for watching my video. Please see the next part in the next video.